Who I am to my very core is someone that's not quite human, that I could change my mind. I believe in doing God's will, and I'm willing to let everyone on the planet die. You should stop worrying about what I say and what I do, okay? And trying to change what I say and what I do. And you should start worrying about doing the right thing, including doing Afghanistan justice, doing the poor all over the world, the poor here in America justice, including doing me and my family justice after all the persecution we have been through, while you have a silly aim, with all due respect, if any is due, of trying to get me to be your slave. You need to really find it in your heart to be a man and to stand firm for what is right and say, this is not right, and it's not going to help the situation. You can't change the trajectory of your continual movement to do evil and to reject what is logically right and a sound, calculated moral plan. Okay, you can't change that you and your offspring will be punished for continuing to do your social engineering, your eugenics, for continuing to live after the righteous were screened out. That's just basic justice. Okay, this isn't Solomon and the two women and the baby here. This is basic justice. 1 + 1 = 2. But what you can do is do your damnedest to do people justice as a governing class. You need to understand this for yourselves and for your children. Stop hating yourselves. Stop destroying yourselves. God does not want you to hate yourselves and destroy yourselves, and your children want you to scramble to try to do the best thing to the best of your ability. And only then will who I really am, okay, in my heart, my soul, that part of God that I am, be able to grant you a degree of mercy in the afterlife. Because I'm not a human that I can change my mind. It is possible to hack my brain, but that's not going to change who I am. Who I really am is somebody who is morally precise. That's my soul. And it was put here in this body to deliver you the message. And as you manipulate my body, it doesn't change what the divine verdict is. The divine verdict is justice, righteousness, universal pinpointed moral precision. Okay? Not ethnocentrism, not racial imperatives, political, social, family motivations, but what is logically just for the entire human race that was ever, that lived on this planet, that lives and will live. You cannot replace the righteous. Okay? It can't be done. I will be the last, and people will be sealed. 7 deadly sins, 7 angels, 7 bowls of God's wrath, 7 churches, 7 lampstands, 7 stars, 7 trumpets. People will be sealed. And they'll have certain spiritual consequences that if you think about, you'll know that they're there. So just do the right thing for the men, women, and children of Afghanistan, for your families, for the world. Hating me and arguing with me over who's above who isn't going to change the bottom line. If I throw a ball up in the air and you're arguing with me about who's right and who's wrong, it's still going to hit the ground. When you throw that crystal ball that represents your family's future up in the air and you're arguing with me over who's superior, it's still going to hit the ground. Justice has to be served. Now, how much punishment depends on what you do and what your offspring do. It is not right to forsake the righteous in the spiritual realm who say, how long, sovereign and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth, okay, and avenge our blood. Came to bring a sword, came to bring fire, okay, came to bring judgment, okay. There's nothing I can do about that. Even if you rewired my brain to where I felt nothing but compassion for you, that wouldn't be who I am. Who I am is the son of a God of justice. That's who I am. Righteousness, justice, love, faithful, true, loyal. Strong romantic imperative. No matter what. Doing what God's will. Understanding what's going on. Wisdom. I obey the greatest commandments to love God with all my heart, all my soul, and my being. If I knew, even if I thought, rather, that I was going to be blotted out after I die. And I know that's not the case. I will still do God's will. Okay? Because true wisdom is loving God, fearing God. That's where it starts. One is just a fool if they don't do that. And I know that God has the power to give me things that are far greater than the things in this world, the things that you've denied yourself and your offspring. Okay? Now, there's one thing that if you scramble right now to obey God through me, and I do not believe you're going to do that, I don't know. Okay? But if you did that, then you could make it to heaven. But you're not going to do that, from what I gather. But what you do have the chance to do from within the boundaries of the beast, which is rejecting the boundaries of God, which is first and foremost obeying God through me. That's the main boundary. If you cross that line, you don't go to heaven. That's what you need to do. Obey God through me. But when you're not going to do that, you can't just let these poor people suffer and play God and say, hey, they deserve to suffer because of X, Y, and Z. That is my call. That is God and his son, who I am in the spiritual realm, his son. Okay? That's their call. That's my call. Not yours. With all due respect, if any is due. Your call is how effectively, what you're expected of you is to do your best to do what is right, to have emergency council meetings and institute my war on poverty plan. A small new tax that goes directly to ending homelessness in America that can be applied around the world. To change this world. You've already bred to such a degree. Your offspring are like the grains of sand on the beach. Okay? Why do you need people to starve still? Why do you hate the people in Afghanistan and Africa and Yemen and all over the world in underdeveloped nations? Why do you hate them so much? What did they do to you people? These are the types of people that if I was about to execute you, would probably be trying to say, hey, take it easy on these guys. Give them another chance. Their ancestors might very well have told my ancestors in a meeting that maybe you should give these guys a chance and expel them instead of execute them. And now you're executing their kids in this horrible way by starving them to death. You got to look at human nature and say, who were these people long ago? Don't be like the scorpion on the frog's back. He tries to take him across the river, and you kill him, and you both drown in the flood. You say, why did you do it? Because of your nature. But you have the ability to calculate your decisions and restrain your inclinations. And that's why you're being damned, because you calculated as groups. And then you created spirits from that calculation that people came into. And those spirits damned them and their offspring.